Ziggy. Printer status.
The printer is printing. Printer is at 22.79%.
Hey guys, Shane here. Just wanted to give a big thanks for all the feedback and support I've had for my first video. Over 1,000 views. Most of that was my nan, to be fair. But yeah, thanks Nan. But seriously, thank you everyone. I really appreciate, people kind of, giving me support and validating my ideas. It's really good. So today we're going to be talking about taking your 3D printer, running with OctoPrint and integrating that with HA, Home Assistant, using Node-RED to facilitate those automations. This is going to be more of an overview of things you can do rather than a tutorial. The amazing thing about Node-RED is that I can take my flows, put them on GitHub, you can download them, change a couple of things around, and you're pretty much good to go. So just a bit of a warning, there may be language in this video because I am an adult, and also none of this is monetized, so who gives a shit. If you'd like to stop any language, please subscribe and get me over 5,000 subscribers. It's all nerdy stuff from here for a while, until the end, probably. So here we have our Ender 3 V2 in a custom built LAC enclosure. And if we come around to the side, we can see this mess of a Raspberry Pi running OctoPrint. Now, if we super quickly jump into the web UI for OctoPrint, so as you can see here, I've got all the classic kind of printer controls, temperature, camera here. We can home the printer from here as well if we wanted to do that. G-code viewer, a lot of add-ins. There's a lot of things you can do with this. I don't actually use any of that. I send my prints directly from Cura, API key into the printer, which is a much more handy way to do it for me. And also Home Assistant. So let's get into the Home Assistant UI now and have a quick look at that. So here we have the dashboard that I've created in Home Assistant to surface up that OctoPrint data. Pretty simple stuff, just camera feed, percentages, couple of simple controls, temperature. All of this is also something that I can see in the Home Assistant app on my phone, and I can pretty much use that to show how cool I am at parties. But this is what we're really here to see, the Node-RED automations that make all this magic happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show a quick video of the automation, what it actually does, and then quickly, again, not a tutorial, so quickly move through and show you how these different flows work. So I was actually going to try and do this without my glasses because of all the reflections, but I honestly can't see shit. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to do it with them on. First up, what I want to talk about is input booleans. I know it sounds super complicated, Boolean, but for us in this context, it's basically an on-off virtual switch. We can create in Home Assistant that will surface up to the Amazon app. And it gives you actually a little bit of a distance between what you're trying to do and actually the physical smart switch that you're trying to turn on. And I'll show you why that's a good idea in a sec. Ziggy, turn on the printer. So with the input boolean thing in mind, we've got a printer input boolean turns on. And all that means is that if it turns on, do a thing. If it changes state from off to on, do a thing. And that thing is turn on the printer switch, which you can see here. Ziggy, turn off the printer. So next we have another input boolean that turns the printer off. Okay. Now, why it's important to have that distance between your input and the physical thing that you're turning off, the switch, is that you can actually put a bit of logic in between that. So here, if the input boolean turns off, is the printer printing? Okay. If it's actually doing a print when you turn it off, don't do anything, just turn the Boolean back on, that virtual switch back on, and do nothing. If it's not printing, turn it off. These are the commands for the shutdown for OctoPrint. Wait 3 minutes so that you know that OctoPrint is fully shut down on the Raspberry Pi, and then turn off that physical switch, that smart switch. Ziggy, pause the print. Ziggy, resume print. So the next up we have our printer pause resume booleans, virtual switches. And how that works is that we've got one for on and we've got one for off, because this little bit of logic in here is actually just a toggle, so on and off. Ziggy, home the printer. Lastly here, we've got the homing of the printer through the virtual assistant. So again, another input boolean virtual switch, and when that gets triggered to be on, it will raise the printer by 5, the Z axis, and then home the printer on the XYZ axes. So the last thing I wanted to show here just quickly is this green node here. Very kindly, I got it from someone in the Node-RED forums, and basically what this does, it's got a bit of logic sitting behind it, but what's surfaced up here is that you just put your API key here and your printer IP address here, and that kind of does all the magic for you. And that's what it is, magic. Okay, 2 more to go, just quickly show you these. The first one here is, has the printer been idle for more than an hour? This is basically an auto shutdown. So if you have a print that's running until 3 AM, as we can see here, once the OctoPrint current state is operational for 1 hour, it'll kick off these next set of events, which is shut down OctoPrint as you've seen before, wait 3 minutes, turn off the printer switch, and then also turn off the virtual switch for the printer. Okay, here's the real last 2. So here we have the notifications that get announced on Alexas around the house. If the printer finishes and it's between 11 PM and 9 AM, announce that the printer's finished. Now, if it is in the middle of the night between those times, what we can do is we can set a 15-minute delay, have it go round and round and round until it meets those times, and then announce it in the morning. Ziggy, printer status.
The printer is printing. Printer is at 22.79%.
So the very last one that we've got here, we have another virtual switch. Announce the printer status. Let's see if we can get a better view of this. So there is a bit of logic involved here. It's just basically a pretty simple if statement. And what that does is it just checks the current state. Now, if that current state is printing, then perform another action, which is actually get the percentage of the print and announce that, which is just really cool. Again, all of this is going to be on the GitHub, so don't worry too much about what you see if you get confused by it here. Oh, I know it's a lot. It's a lot of nerdy stuff. It's a lot to take in, and it seems super complicated when you first see it. I know I was really dazed and confused when I first got into looking at Node-RED and Home Assistant and everything like that. But you pick it up pretty quickly. It's not that hard. And again, I've exported all this stuff. It's in GitHub. Go there, have a look, download it into your own Home Assistant environment. Play with it a little bit. You know, add your own API key in for the printer, etc., and you should be able to get up and running pretty quick. If you do have any questions or comments, again, do the usual, leave them in the comments. Okay, I won't keep you any longer. I hope you got some good info and you're not too sore from that mental probing. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for watching.